Well, hello. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Have a question for you all this evening. Buddy, go lay down. Wait, my dog's down here. I don't know if he's a brute, so I don't know if you're going to see any of him or not. But he is. I made one on dogs, the best kind of dogs to have for preparedness, and he is of the breed that I suggest. It's not a pure breed, it's a crossbreed, and he's got all the elements of what I consider to be the best preparedness survival dog around. I won't talk to him about him tonight. Maybe I'll do another one. I have a question for you all. First off, I wanted to read you something, and join me for I'm sitting down. It's been a good day, and I am enjoying one of my favorite drinks, which is a Buffalo Sweat. You all who have been with me for a while know that that's what I like. It's an oatmeal cream stout made by Tallgrass Brewing Company. A lot of things here in Kansas are called Tallgrass because of the prairie and all that, you know. And it is out of Wichita, Kansas. There it is, Buffalo Sweat. Because if you made a stout in Kansas, what else would you call it but Buffalo Sweat, right? And it is better than Guinness. Of course, you all know I don't like Guinness, but it's almost as good as Murphy's, which is saying a bunch. Before I ask the big question, I want to read something here. I got something, and as a matter of fact, this is what I was doing earlier, is just mailing out some books, some autographed books that I'm catching up on. And I wanted to read you a note that I got from one of our subscribers. I won't identify them exactly because I didn't ask them if I could, and they didn't say, and you know, whatever. Their first names are enough. But they sent it in this card here. You all can read it, but I'll read it to you for anybody who can't. And it's by Jefferson. It says, "If we are to guard against ignorance and remain free, it is the responsibility of every American to be informed." Now, this really, it addresses, and of course, many of us on this channel agree with this. It really addresses more what we do over on the other channel, American Reversion, where we talk about the importance of that being involved in the political process. I just put one up over there today, and somebody asked me the other day, what is this American Reversion you're talking about? It's my other channel. The link's down there. Here's a note that they that they included when they ordered my set of books. He said, "We're so excited about your 5th book. Enclosed is a check for all 5 of your books autographed. We'll be keeping those books in our library, and the previous books we bought will be our loaners." I love that, because as people who are really into preparedness, this shows, and this is what made me think about doing this one tonight. Are you serious? How serious are you about preparing? These people are serious because they not only want the books themselves, and this is a second whole set of my books that they've bought, and they're using those first ones they got for loaners, and that is great. That's taking responsibility. That's passing it on, and that really, you know, when you have knowledge, I mean, it's up to you, but I always tell my students, you're not meant to be the final receptacle of the information. You're supposed to be a conduit through which it flows to others. And then, so they sent me this. They said, "Blessings to you and your family." I won't say their last name, Jim and Kathy. Jim and Kathy, you're my kind of people. Thank you so much. Your books are on the way. Here's a Buffalo Sweat toast to you all and the people that you help by loaning those books. Okay, are you serious? The reason that I ask that is several fold. And some of you, many of you are serious. And so I'm going to ask that you all participate in kind of, you know, leaving some comments for those who may not be serious, and you know, advise them a little bit beyond what I'm going to say here. Advise them. Say, here's why you should be serious. Here's what you should be doing, you know, such as that. For those of you who either will admit to yourselves, or as a result of watching this, admit that you are or have not been serious, this is my question to you. Are you serious? Okay. The reason that I ask this, like I said, I'm going to begin with the most recent one. I noticed that when I put up a video like End of the World or EMP or something like that, a very real, threats, I'm gonna get a lot. Well, a lot for me, not a lot for other channels, but a lot for me, a lot of views. I just put up one the other night. What was it? The most important thing you can do for long-term preparedness, and it is crucial. I mean, if it goes into what I explain in my books. If you want, not just you, and that's the thing, not just you, but if you want to prepare so your family, your children, your grandchildren, then on, will be in good shape when really bad things happen, this is the most important thing you can do. And I said right up front, I'm not going to get that many views. I think I got a couple of thousand, right? Not near what, you've only got 3 days left would bring. Couple of thousand views. And of course, and I will say this, that I do want to address this while I continue. There are often comments from people that say, no, the most important thing you can have is a relationship with Jesus Christ. Listen, I consider that a given, okay? I consider that a given. So I'm not going to pull your comments when you leave that, but realize that you're implying that I don't believe that, or somehow I missed the big one. I haven't, okay? I do believe it, and I haven't missed it, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about physical preparedness, okay? Not spiritual. If you want spiritual, come over to my Stone My Church channel, okay? We'll talk about it more over there, but I make no secret that the most important thing you can do is have the proper relationship with God through Jesus Christ and with Jesus Christ, okay? Let's lay that aside if we can, okay? So just realize, if you will. So that's the first thing. When people see some big calamitous things, and I understand, I was in the newspaper business long ago, if it bleeds, it leads. People, for whatever reason, want the vicarious excitement of being involved in something horrible, drastic, terrible. People love to read about the miseries of others, the horrible thing that happened to somebody on the other side of town or down the street or across the other side of the world. And it gives them this feeling of somehow being, connected in the know without having to deal with it themselves. I'm sure that there's a psychological spectrum here that I could probably, take apart if I felt like it, but I don't, so I won't. I think the vast majority of people who talk about preparedness and survival are not serious, not serious at all, and that's too bad. It is something that kind of it's like going to one of those haunted houses, right? People get scared. They get a fake scared. What does my daughter call it? I don't know. The kids have a term for this, but it's like fake scared. And I think that's what a lot of people in the preparedness, I won't say the community because it's not the real preparedness people. It's a lot of those who kind of dabble around the edges. They just want to kind of nibble, and get these things. And it makes them feel as if they're I'm not sure. You all help me with this, You throw in your thoughts on this. But I think it makes them feel involved without really getting involved. Some years ago, Kelly went. We found out that it was after that movie Amerigeddon. If you all have seen that movie, it's too bad. It was a bad movie. It was a terrible movie. It was a great plot. It was a great idea. I had high hopes for it. And one of the reasons that I was interested in when it came out was that Chuck Norris's son was the producer, director, or something. I forget. One of those things. He was involved in it, so we all said, oh, that's going to be great. And it's about, well, look it up to see what it's about. And when I saw it, it was painful to watch. The acting was horrible. The editing was strange. The special effects were, to be real honest, it was college, not even college level. It was high school level, and it's really too bad. So anyway, it was back in when that came out, and Kelly saw someplace. I don't belong to prepper groups. I don't belong to any prepper groups or any online groups. I don't belong to bulletin boards or anything like that. I recently joined just a Facebook group that somebody sent me an invite to, and it's another reason that I'm making this tonight. But back to this several years ago. So Kelly says, hey, there's this preparedness group that's got a meeting up at the library, and do you want to go? And at the time I was still working at the hospital, and I said, well, I can't go, and I don't know. She said, well, I'll take the kids and I'll go see what they're about and let you know. I says, all right. So she went, and when I saw her, when I got home that night, I asked her how it was, and she just went, ugh. She said, those people don't have a clue. I said, really? Because this is a group that had been around for a while. Really? She said, yeah. She said, it was painful sitting there. And she says, I attempted to say a couple of things, and they were just, I don't remember if she said they were not receptive or they were, I don't really know, but it was a negative response from them. Okay. And even my oldest son, who was probably 8 at the time, I don't know, he said, Dad, they don't know what they're doing. So the next time they came around, the same group had a meeting, and I was able to go. So I did. It was at another library, and I went, and I got there, and I was just amazed at the kind of people that were there. Now, they had a guest speaker who pretty much knew what he was talking about, and he and I didn't say much in the meeting, but you know how you can recognize somebody, if you're at a certain level, you can recognize somebody at that level, without saying one. He and I kind of understood each other, even non-verbally, and I think he was catching perhaps I wasn't hiding my thoughts as well as I thought I was. Or maybe I was letting them out, because I'm pretty good at hiding it if I need to. But the leader of the group, the people in the group, first off, they were older, which doesn't mean anything. Later on, there were 3 young guys came in who looked like they were pretty well put together, but I could tell that they weren't there to be a part of the group. They were there to see who these people were, and they never really introduced themselves, and I had my suspicions about them. Anyway, back to the group. These people, older, overweight, every single one of them, overweight. You could tell they were not healthy. And every one of them thought they knew everything. Everyone. That was it. They thought they knew it all. And the things that they knew were so basic, but they would put it out there with such authority that the world was lucky to be hearing their wisdom, in their eyes. And I don't remember any of the things they were saying, but it was of the level like, well, you need to filter your water, if you're out in the wild, because if you don't, it can make you sick. And everybody would go, yeah, that's right. So I have had occasion to run across another couple of groups like that, and darn if they weren't the same. Now, I'm sure not every group is like that, but I also have been to a couple of prepper conventions and run into much the same. This group that I joined on Facebook, I got on there just to see what was on there, and I have never seen such a bunch of know-it-alls in my life. I haven't commented. I have answered one question to a lady who was a newbie. She's just asking for new, and I gave her an answer within the scope of what she'd be able to do. But for the most part, it reminded me a lot of that group that I went to years ago. Talk about a bunch of know-it-alls when their level is so elementary. It's amazing. And I realized that these are the preparedness tourists. They aren't going to, they're not going to get down any deeper, because that would take effort, it would take time, and it would also take the willingness to learn. I think that too many people, they get into something, they think that that's okay, this is cool, I want to dress up like this, I want to dress up, I want to act like it. It gives me it's kind of a hobby, I can buy a lot of stuff, even though I'm 350 pounds, I can buy a lot of cool gear and tactical vests and a cap with, saying on it, and patches for, and then I can trick out my pickup, and man, I'm all about it. Yeah, I suppose it's not doing anybody any harm, except themselves. But what it does, I think, it sets back. It sets them back. It sets anybody who knows them back. And it's not my place to be the preparedness police. It's not my business, right? But I think that it's a shame. And so what I find amusing is that, and this isn't new to most of you, you all have been following this stuff or involved in it for the older people just as long as I have, as far as the YouTube stuff and all that, maybe longer. It's interesting to me how this kind of becomes a circle. A circle. Same stuff without going deeper. And those who don't kind of dig down and really go out there and put themselves to the test are going to be there's going to be no difference. So I'm speaking to any of you who might think, I wonder if that's me. If it's you, and my purpose is not to offend you. My purpose is to say, if you don't go deeper than this, if you don't go and apply what you've heard or what you've read, if you stay on the surface and just kind of use it as playtime, just kind of use it as a hobby that you don't take very seriously, except that you get all the gear, you're not going to be in any better shape than the person who pretty much hasn't prepared at all. Except you'll have more stuff. You'll have more stuff for somebody else to come take, somebody else who is serious, and is not as nice a person as you are, right? So, you know, there's this idea, there's this old idea that I'll let my enemy, you know, be my quartermaster. And in many cases, I mean, that's a good plan. But don't be the supply. You know, don't be the quartermaster for other people. Don't spend your money now that if you're not serious, you could spend the money better ways, right? And you shouldn't be spending all the money. You ought to be spending time and studying and applying and practicing and things like this, instead of just, you know, seeing what else you can put on your credit card that'll make you more prepared. So you might think I think my whole point on this was that, because it continues to amaze me how many people are attracted to the scary stuff. And I don't even try to think up. I know that I could get a lot more people if I thought about scary titles for every video, but that's not, I don't care. You know, that's not the deal. There are some that are more, you know, punchy than others, but it's not because I try to make them that way. But when somebody comes, and when I make one, or anybody else makes one too, about some really serious stuff, no, that's just not exciting enough. That's just not sexy enough. So if there are 2 or 3 people out there who this has helped, and who have said, you know what, maybe I do need to dig down a little bit deeper and really get my head in the game instead of just my credit card, and not just play act. Stop playing prepper and actually start thinking long term and addressing the very real, possibly horrendous scenarios that are in the future. You'd be better off. You'd be more prepared. You'd actually be prepared as opposed to playing prepared. Does that make sense? Anyway, I just thought that I would put that out there. I needed an excuse to sit down and have my buffalo sweat. And I hadn't had a chance to put out a video on integrative preparedness yet, so the two kind of came together, and a chance to pet the dog. Right, buddy? Yeah. You want to get up here and say hi to the folks? You want to get up here and say hi to the folks? Let's see. Yeah. There he is. Okay, all right. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good.
You gonna come out and jump on the trampoline?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'll be in a minute. Well, the family's home. They went looking at dogs. Just in case you wonder, Max is half shepherd, a quarter Rottweiler, and a quarter Husky. And that's why I believe him to be the perfect preparedness and survival breed. The shepherd and the Rottweiler are both great working dogs. I won't go into a lot of detail. They're very, very family friendly. They become a part of the family. Either one of them can last down to about 0 degrees outside and not want to come inside. The Husky will take them down to about 40 below. And he is fast, and he is thick, and he is heavy, and he is protective of the family. Anyway, I didn't mean to get into dogs. You all, whatever camp you fall into, if you have some questions about this, put them in the comments or express yourself. Say, you know, hey, I don't know how to get more serious. If I see comments like that, I'll talk about that. You experienced people, I know you probably have some opinions on this, so I invite you also to be a part of the educational process, or just if you want to complain about things you've run across, that's okay too. Just be nice, be polite, and try try to make it educational, right? Okay. Look, I'm going to get out of here. I think I smell dinner ready. You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. In order to do that, we can't just be playing at preparedness. We have to be serious, because the things that could happen are serious. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.